Welcome to our podcast. We are currently students at Coppin State University, and we are in Health Sciences 404, Ethics for Health Professionals.
Welcome to the Jess Show.
I'm Johannes.
I'm Imani.
And I'm Tanaya.
And so today we'll be talking about ethical issues in the healthcare field. So the first question that I have is, are there times when it's acceptable to cover up or avoid revealing a mistake if that mistake would not cause harm to a patient? So we're just asking this from the perspective of a physician. So what do you guys think?
I go first. Yeah. I feel physicians don't tell because they have too much pride and they don't want to get in trouble. Like they just feel like if there's no reason or if there's no problem, they don't have any reason to tell. So therefore, they just keep it to themselves.
Like an ask, don't tell type of thing.
Your question was, should they tell?
No, so like, what do you think? Like, should they tell or should they not tell?
I'm on the fence with it because if it don't cause them any harm, then why create unnecessary drama within the hospital and, cause hysteria within the family? But your heart should feel like you want to tell them what happened, but your mind basically wants to keep a calm and cool situation.
Yeah, but as a patient, I will personally want to be told about what could have happened. And also just from like a physician standpoint, like you don't want to make the same mistake twice. So acknowledging what went wrong and how you could fix it and move on to make sure that doesn't happen again is like accountability. So I think the physician should definitely hold themselves accountable as well, and then also think about the patient and their autonomy and their sense of trust in the healthcare field.
Yeah, piggybacking off what you said, if a physician just make a mistake, he may know he made a mistake, but he might not know what the mistake is. Like he may not do this. Like I didn't do this wrong. I didn't do this right, but I don't know what is supposed to be done right. It didn't matter. Yeah, it didn't matter. It was wrong, but
or like he skipped a step or something, like in a procedure.
Because he might.
So the next question is, what is being done about this? So the topic is quite complex and like controversial about sharing the information of a physician making a mistake, even though it didn't cause harm. What do you think can be done about it, and what do you think is done about it already?
So I know that you and Marnie was talking about like codes being brought into where like physicians have to tell what happened, even if it's a minor mistake. But my only concern with that is patients aren't really knowledgeable about hospital rules and hospital codes. So it's like if they don't know the codes and know that a physician is supposed to tell them if they made a mistake, as well as they don't feel a mistake, they don't see a mistake. How would these codes really help them?
Without the codes there, it's like no pressure to tell.
It's really up to the physician.
Yeah, if you don't feel like telling, then no one's gonna know, and that's just how it's gonna keep going until until you get caught, bro.
Yeah. So the first code would be the American Medical Association Code for patient safety, and this just essentially it's an ethical obligation for doctors to admit to their mistakes to their patients, whether it affects them or causes like a disability, or if it causes no harm at all. Like this code basically enforces the physician, like you have to tell the patient, even if it didn't harm them at all. So according to the AMA.org, even when new information regarding the medical error will not alter the patient's medical treatment or anything, you still have to tell. So you still have to disclose the occurrence of the error. You have to acknowledge the error and just basically issue an apology to the patient as well. And so then I know the state of Michigan also recently passed a legislation called the I'm Sorry legislation in 2011. And the governor of Michigan is just basically saying physicians have the space to apologize to patients, because in the hospital they teach them not to apologize or to say I'm sorry, because that essentially admits fault. And you don't, as a healthcare professional, you don't want to be at fault for anything, because that puts your license on the line.
Give them the wrong idea.
It gives them the wrong idea, like they did something. It's like, oh, what are you saying sorry for? So this legislation in Michigan allows physicians to apologize to the patient, the family members, and just to like express empathy towards them in their medical treatment as well.
So yeah, do you think the codes make them feel like, ooh, it's a possibility I can get caught and get in trouble, rather than it not be a code and they be like, well, I don't care if I get caught, it's not going to be anything?
I feel like the code adds more caution to what they're doing. It's like, you know, with fines, like the same way when you're driving, you know if you exceed a certain speed limit, there's the chance of you getting pulled over, so you are cautious of speeding that. Like you may still go over it, but you're a lot more cautious. So it's the same thing with the codes. You know, you may be there, and now you're like, okay, now let me be more cautious, because now people, like, someone's life's already in my hands, so I should have to be cautious. But now there's penalties behind someone's life on top of that. You know.
So you think it's more of a preventative rather than a fix?
Yeah.
Okay.
How does withholding information affect the patient?
Okay, withholding information also affects the trust within the patient, because even if it may be a small mess up, it goes both ways though, because if you mess up and tell the patient may not trust you to
Continue. I feel like if I'm your physicians, they want to know everything about you. They want to know everything you did in your 20 years of living. So why wouldn't the physician still have the same energy to tell you everything that went on during the procedure?
Guess what? The physician knew you for 20 years and he know how you act.
No.
So if he know you a hysterical type of person,
that's not his judgment. That's not their judgment to make. In case of parentalism, the family physician does not fully inform Mr. Smith as to the seriousness of his illness and how the consequences of the various alternative treatments might affect his lifestyle.
But isn't that like if it's serious? We talking about if it's not serious.
Why does the physician get to decide if it's serious or not? It could be minuscule. I still want to know, like, because you saying like, oh, they're trying to protect you from being dramatic because they know your heart can't take it.
So you're trying to say you don't know what can and what won't be serious.
Yeah, to a person, everything is serious, and I feel like it changes with a person.
Yeah, because I could do the same thing.
Subjective,
but it could affect you differently.
Right?
Yeah. So I feel like the physician shouldn't have the say so of like, well, I don't think so. I don't think I should tell her because she's gonna be dramatic.
But why would I want to give Miss Patty a heart attack?
Because it's a case of paternalism. It's a case of paternalism.
I'm gonna give Miss Patty a heart attack because I gave her Tylenol instead of ibuprofen.
And Miss Patty could be like, "Oh, well, that's okay, baby."
But it's still.
But as long as it works,
60 years.
As long as it works. Yeah, you still want to get, the key word is autonomy. You want to have a say so in your healthcare plan, in your healthcare treatment. You want to have that say so. Give me an option. Allows physicians to apologize to the patient, the family members, and just to like express empathy towards them in their medical treatment as well.
So y'all don't think that would be a lot of work? Like, I already got to explain to you what's going on with you.
But
and then I gotta explain and dummy it down what I did wrong, and then I gotta dummy down how I'm gonna fix it.
But you wouldn't want to know what was going on when they were playing in your insides.
But that's major. That's major.
Yeah,
that's major. That can cause harm.
I mean, but I feel like this is still broad. Like it could be any procedure. It could be a quick office procedure. It could be in surgery OR, in the clinic.
Like if they gave me ibuprofen rather than Tylenol, I don't care.
But
like,
what if
don't
like,
tell me? I don't care.
But those are like, they're not different. They have the same effect, but they're still differently chemically.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't care. Like,
but what I mean, like,
not gonna
what if even though it do the same thing? But what if that chemical in Tylenol do something to your body?
Yeah, it might not-
Yeah,
it
but
may
then
not
I would
happen.
know, so they're not gonna have
I mean,
a choice but
that's
to
the thing,
tell
though.
me.
What if it
like-
doesn't? Okay, so what if you take Tylenol and it doesn't affect you right then, right there, or tomorrow, or the day after, and you leave the hospital thinking everything's fine, and then you come back and something is wrong with you?
But that's what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
something is wrong, so now they have to tell me. They don't have no
But
choice.
okay, or
It could have been after you left. What if they didn't, like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
What if they, like,
Yeah.
it may have already passed already, so like you're not gonna, you wouldn't know it was them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause
Yeah.
If it was days after, you just think, oh, maybe something I ate today. But whole time it was the Tylenol he gave you that wasn't good for you. And
Yeah.
then-
That seems like y'all want to see.
or you
I'm
could
definitely sure.
you could look at it like, okay, you take ibuprofen all the time. You go to the ER for a fever or something, and they give you Tylenol instead of ibuprofen. They do the same thing, but the Tylenol don't do anything for you like the ibuprofen. The Tylenol not working for you at all. So you back at home still with a fever, and you're like, why isn't this working? When they were really supposed to give you ibuprofen,
But she didn't know that.
Yeah.
but you didn't know that they gave you something different.
I mean, yeah, I understand. I feel like I don't know.
It could
Like,
be
it's just like
really just as
it's like
little as
I
that.
understand like it's a small thing, but it's like as a patient and as a physician, like as a patient, I don't want to cause like I'm already in the hospital, I'm already sick, I'm already injured. I don't want to cause myself all of that hysteria and sadness and drama and
I don't think it will
crying
necessarily be
I
drama.
agree.
It
and
depends on
and
how.
worry.
I think it depends on how the physician presents it. Because I could be like, oh my gosh, my ring almost fell off in your colon, but I got it. Or you could be like, well, we did have a little minor mishap, but it was taken care of.
Okay, I think that's
Yeah,
another
it's just
thing.
all about how it's presented to the patient.
If you worried, they're gonna be worried.
Yeah, okay. That's another aspect to it. How is the doctor telling the patient?
Yeah,
Okay.
how they present it.
Alright.
What was the second question again? Because I think
About the codes,
I don't know
what
what
is
you
being done.
How the last one is how this withholding information affect the patient.
okay, withholding information also affects the trust within the patient, because even if it may be a small mess up, it goes both ways though. Because you know, if you mess up and tell the patient may not trust you to.
Yeah,
Go back to-
continue. I feel like
But-
if I'm your physicians, they want to know everything about you. They want to know everything you did in your 20 years of living. So why not? Why wouldn't the physician still have the same energy?
I don't think that would be a lot of work. Like, I already got to explain to you what's going on with you.
But you
And
gotta
then I
look.
gotta explain and dummy it down what I did wrong. And then I gotta dummy down how I'm gonna fix it.
But you wouldn't want to know what was going on when they were playing in your insides.
But that's a major. That's major.
Yeah,
That's
see,
major.
the
That
major
can
one's
cause
crazy.
harm.
I mean, but that's. I feel like this is still broad. Like it could be any
feel like-
procedure. It could be a quick office procedure. It could be in surgery OR in the
I
clinic.
feel like the right thing to do is to tell. It is to tell. Would I do it?
You would,
I don't know.
would you personally do it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because ethically, I feel like it's wrong not to tell them. But I mean, ethically, it's technically right. It's okay to do because not everyone's obligated to tell if it's not harmful. But as people, I feel like ethically it's wrong to not tell nobody. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's unethical as well.
So now I do feel like physicians should have to tell patients. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just from a personal standpoint of seeing different people react to stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know how I would feel in that moment as a physician. Like, come on, imagine having to tell your granny that you gave her Tylenol instead of ibuprofen, and you know that she
But that's
will
still
fall out on the floor.
No, but that's like building trust. Like, oh, you didn't have to tell me that, but thank you for telling me that, though.
True.
That's what I'm saying. As people, it's like ethically
Yeah.
right. 'Cause, like,
It builds that connection.
No one's gonna say. You can ask everybody in the classroom. Right? No one's gonna say they don't want to know if the doctor's
Right.
something wrong. You know.
Yeah.
But as a doctor, almost half of us would say, you know, we would keep it to ourselves
it
at the
secret.
same time. So you know, it really depends. So that's why
Yeah.
I had to depend.
So my next question is, where do you think like the ethical committee come in with this? Like a person find out that it was a mistake, then what happened?
I think they're gonna go by the book probably. They're gonna be like, you know,
These are licenses.
yeah,
And
like,
Well, it really depends because I read a peer-reviewed journal about how some states don't force physicians to tell. Like some states didn't adopt the code that American Medical Association Code of Patient Safety. So some states don't force the physicians to tell at all. So that would be kind of a sticky situation if it happened in a state that don't require that code and they at the ethics committee board. It's like,
Yeah.
well,
we didn't have to tell you.
technically-
Yeah.
technically we didn't have to tell you,
Yeah.
but we did.
What you think, Joey?
I mean, I guess I was like, they're gonna go by the book. I feel
The
yeah,
book.
like they're definitely gonna just look at that and be like, he didn't have to tell you. I mean, he should have, but he, didn't. So
Had to.
we can't do nothing about it. And then they're just gonna go by their day forever.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they could still try to sue. I don't know how far they will get with it, depending on like what the situation is.
Yeah.
Situation definitely matters. In that case, it definitely matters a lot.
So this is a case by case decision on whether you should or shouldn't tell.
So are you still in the middle?
No, I mean I feel like you should tell.
Okay,
I feel like
you
you
should
should
tell.
tell.
I think you should tell as well.
I think you should tell as
Right.
well. So to me, it is wrong. Yes.
Yes, I think it's wrong for physicians not to disclose if they made a mistake or not to a patient, even though it didn't cause harm.
And I think a patient has every right to know everything that's going on with their health and their body, even if it's a small mistake.
You sure?
I told you, as a person, I do feel like they should tell, but I just don't know if I put myself as a physician, like, Dr. Tanaya, would you tell this person that you made a mistake and gave them Motrin instead of Tylenol? Like, I don't think I would tell them that. I just be like, well, in 6 hours, I'm gonna get them the right medicine. Like, that's what I would do. I don't think I would
I
tell
feel you to a certain extent because it's so small, but I'm just thinking from surgery. That's all I'm thinking about.
You also. All right. So that's all today for the Jet Show. I'm Johannes,
I'm Imani.
And I'm Tanaya.
and we'll see you guys later.